Hi, I'm Kerry. I'm the host of Best of Us Investors. If you've been to my channel before, you know that my basic investment theory is to invest in the companies that are going to change the way I live. I also believe that the stock market is driven by events, and if you can identify those events which facilitate change and then find the companies that make that change happen, you're going to invest in the future. Up until January of 2020, the most important investment event that happened in my life was the discovery of the internet. And the internet brought us things like Apple and Microsoft, and then eventually Google, and beyond that, it brought us Amazon and Facebook. And those are some of the biggest companies in the world. And thus, what I do is look for the next change. And I believe that next change happened in March of 2020, and that was the coronavirus. The coronavirus pointed out two things very abruptly to us. Number one, our healthcare system was broken, not only in the delivery, but also in the science behind it. It wasn't working. And then the second thing the coronavirus pointed to us was that our supply chain is broken. We had farmed out all of our manufacturing of everything from masks to automobiles to computer chips to China because of cost of labor. And we gave up on the American worker. So those are the two things that I think are paramount for my future investing. So I have focused, because of another event in my life, two events actually, the loss of my mother when I was 8 years old to cancer, and then the loss of my daughter when she was 40 years old to cancer. I have a real interest in cancer, the cure of cancer, and then thus in biotech. So I have learned a lot about biotech. And what I have discovered is there are different levels that are going to change in our healthcare system from the beginning, from testing you for the flu, for the virus, for cancer. You're going to be able to buy those tests in your Walgreens store in the very near future, to the delivery of medicine. No longer focusing on care and treatment, but instead on one-time cure. That is to say, there are companies who are striving to provide you the ability to go in and say, I have cancer, cure me. And through genome sequencing and genome editing, they'll be able to do that. So those are the things that I want to invest in. I've then just recently been brought to my attention that there are several companies that are taking it a different direction, and that is the discovery of drugs, how the discovery of drugs will change in the future. Now, what's going to change most dramatically is the fact that they're going to use artificial intelligence. I really learned a lot about artificial intelligence when I read Amy Webb's book, The Big Nine. It basically shows us how 9 companies have most of the data in the world and thus have grown to be the behemoths of our investment world, to include IBM, Alibaba, Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon, Baidu, Apple, and Tencent. They gathered the data off of the internet. So now the question is, in healthcare, who is going to gather the data and who is going to adapt that data to artificial intelligence and machine learning and change the drug industry? Well, what became apparent to me, and I gather my data from 2 different sources. One is from my tribe, that's Best of Us Investors. We have a Discord and we have a Patreon where people come and share with me, and then we have live streams and conversations through Zoom, and we discuss what are the companies that are going to change the medical field. The other place I get it is through subscriptions that I have to various gurus in the investment field. One of those is Jeff Brown. And just this week, Jeff sent me a link to a 54-minute video. And if you've ever seen any of Jeff's videos, they all follow the same pattern. He'll spend about 50 minutes with you, pumping you for joining his thing, and then he'll tell you a ticker symbol, maybe, or maybe that ticker symbol will come at the cost of $2,000. Well, he sent me one that really intrigued me, and I did some digging, and I have a new stock that I feel is going to be one of my big, and I'm not going to put an X on it here. I might on the thumbnail, but it's going to be a big runner because it's going to change the drug discovery business. So let me first of all explain to you, I'm not your financial advisor. I'm here only to entertain and to educate. And for that, I would ask you to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. It helps my algorithm, and it'll help me grow my channel to, what, 500,000, maybe 1 million subscribers. That's the goal. But what our goal first is to make good investment decisions. So stay with me and we'll take a look at what I've just discovered.
Best of Us Investors presents Carrie Griegmeyer.
Okay, here's how Jeff got me interested. And Jeff is a very good presenter. If you're not familiar with him, I'll put a link to this video in the description so you can watch the whole thing. But here's Jeff in his teaser, I guess you would say.
It may sound like a hoax. It is not. You see, as I've learned, this small cap has found a new way to discover drugs. This new way isn't aiming at 1% better odds or 2% or even 3%. It's aiming much, much higher because this new way doesn't exist in our world. It doesn't answer to our limitations. It doesn't fix the 99.98% failure rate by helping the scientists or speeding them up. It fixes it by replacing them. This small cap is using artificial intelligence to discover drugs. You haven't read about it in the mainstream press. The Wall Street Journal hasn't put it on the front page. Bill Gates heard about it, of course. He's purchased over 16 million shares in this small cap. His fellow billionaires heard about it. David E. Shaw bought over 9 million shares. Ron Barron owns this stock too. So the information was there somewhere. But most people like you, have been kept in the dark.
One of the things that Jeff told me early on in his video is that the 50% of this company is owned by Bill Gates and David Shaw. We all know who Bill Gates is. David Shaw is probably noted for his the revolutionary change in the way hedge funds worked by using artificial intelligence and algorithms to help his hedge fund choose the stocks he wanted. He retired from that and he basically moved into the field of molecular biology and the discovery of drugs. And that is what then, with that piece of knowledge that Bill Gates and David Shaw own 50%, I did some additional research and I came upon a research document by Citron Research, which was titled The Most Important IPO in the Past 5 Years. The research report goes on to say that as Tesla was to the electric vehicle business and how Elon basically showed us that we could have a computer that would drive us around in the world, a company by the name of Schrodinger is going to change the pharmaceutical world. And in essence, what they're doing is they have developed the software to go through the molecules that pharmaceutical companies search to find the proper drug for your depression, for your AIDS, for your whatever disease, not disease as much as whatever condition you have, and what pharmaceutical drug will take care of it. I know a good example, erectile dysfunction. Somebody had to put the molecules together to come up with the drug that would correct erectile dysfunction. So how has that been done since the 70s? Basically, it's done in a petri dish, and you try this with this. You put A with B and D and Q and see what happens. You make a note, and then you make another change. And it basically is a 6-year process, and it's very expensive, it's very human intense, and it's very financial intense. So what Schrodinger has done is basically created a search engine, if you will, of molecules that operate on artificial intelligence and machine learning, and as a result, bring the search process for a pharmaceutical drug down from 6 years to, in some cases, 6 months. That is, in fact, how we found the vaccine for the coronavirus, through artificial intelligence and through accessing the information that we have gathered through genome research and creating this artificial intelligence process. I told you about another company about a week ago, and then we did actually our investment committee did a second video on it, and that is ABCL, and they are also in this field. Schrodinger is going about it a little different way. And if you want to learn more about ABCL, watch these 2 videos. But Schrodinger basically is creating this software and making it available to the pharmaceutical companies. They've been around since 1990, but they have the sign up by all 20 of the largest pharmaceutical companies to take advantage of their software. What is the end effect of this? This is going to basically change the pharmaceutical industry. It has growth potential that is only matched by the growth potential of Google search or by Amazon search, whatever application. This is the applying artificial intelligence to the pharmaceutical industry. And what I think makes it very comfortable is that the 50% of the ownership, it also goes on to say that besides Gates and Shaw, gentleman by the name of Ron Barron is also a major holder. And to those of you who are Tesla-oriented, you know he was a major backer of Tesla in its early stages. So this is a company that I will be investing in. I'm going to add it to my holdings as I believe that the most important event that has happened in my lifetime, and I'm 76 years old, happened in March of 20, and that is the coronavirus, which then spurred the world on to say, we've got to fix our medical system. We have to bring it out of the 1970s and into the 2000s, where we use artificial intelligence, where we use genome sequencing, where we use genome editing to basically take diseases out of our bodies, and then we use artificial intelligence to discover the molecules and how they relate to each other to basically change how we find the drugs that we're going to be used for treatments in the future. I'm also going to share a link on the Discord to both of these reports. The Seeking Alpha article goes into the fact that Schrodinger is working with molecules. It's seeing how molecules relate to each other and thus can create a drug. What they also are recognizing is molecules are a part of all of our life. There are not only our drugs, but our materials. And so they may discover a molecule that creates a cure for a condition, and then see an application for that same molecule configuration in aerospace. So what this company is about to do is change the way scientists look for anything and everything and how it's going to affect our world. So this is a company that you need to be knowledgeable of. I'm going to create a channel on our Discord that is going to include a copy of the Seeking Alpha article, as well as the research report that I found on Citron, and as well a link to Jeff Brown's dissertation on what the potential of this drug is. So I'm going to buy it. I'd suggest you do your research, and if you want access to my research, it's available on Best of Us Investors. Give me your name and your email address. I will then give you a link to our Discord. And at our Discord, if you want access to this information, as well as my portfolio and my buying and selling habits, we charge $10 a month for that. And I think we can take you to a new level of investing. So that's where I'm putting my money today. And I'll talk to you again tomorrow.